Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome to AEC here for round six of the season. Already, it feels like we're flying by. Well, it is flying by. Everything's going far too quickly. Uh, and just think, very soon we'll actually already be at the halfway point of the season. But here we are, as I said, for round six of the season, and we are here after what was today's enthralling F1 race at Baku. Let's see what these 20 drivers here on the grid can do for us here on the F1 game. You've got just myself this week. Mr. Bobbitt's in the box. Ross has decided that he wanted to have some cheap vodka last night, and it's got to his throat. That's his excuse. I personally think it was something else, but I'll let everybody be the judge of that one. So yeah, I'm afraid you're just going to have to put it with me. That's just how it is, I'm afraid to say. Looks like it should be a dry quali. Or it looks like, I'm not hosting, so you're not going to have any interesting weather settings, but you never know. The race, there might be something different for the race. Let's wait and see. But as we wait for everybody to come out onto the track, let me know if the game audio is too loud. By the way, it should be fine, but I just don't know. But yeah, going after last week, and after that enthralling battle at the end at Monza between Joe Murphy and Shizu's Ogween, and after the final lap, final corner. Not incident as such, but a little bit of controversy, I guess you could say, between the two of them. It was Shizu's Ogween who came out on top, and he took the win from the BRT driver. So it meant that Shizu do actually close up on the on TTM and BRT, who still lead the way. And after that result, did actually manage to extend their championship lead. As we will go on board with John Murphy, he will be the first driver to set a lap time. But yeah, quite close is the top. The top three, well, BRT do have a 43-point gap over TTM, with Shizu only 2 points back after the last two races they've scored brilliantly. And then there's a bit of a gap back to FRT and FGE, who are in their own battle for fourth place, only separated by 6 points. Somewhat closely followed by ERT, and then obviously then we have the rest of the teams rounding off the top 10. But here we go, start of qualifying. Joe Murphy is going to get us underway as we wait about 20 seconds for him to eventually cross the start-finish line on what is a 2-kilometre back straight. I mean, you do wonder what these drivers have to do. I mean, do they put their feet up? Well, if you want to wheel, you don't put your feet up, but if you want to pad like myself, you could put your feet up and see how it goes. But we're right on board with the BRT man into turn one. Here we go. It's braking at about the start of the curbing aspect, going in through the first corner, keeps it in third gear. Obviously, the track will get quicker and quicker as we go through qualifying into turn two, as he completely drifts the back of the car in. And well, obviously, we know on this game that seems to work. I don't agree to it, but there you go. Into the next 90-degree left-hander, into turn three, into another 90-degree right-hander, this time of turn four. Joe Murphy locking the front right there. Just about got the car turned in eventually. As we now come into the start of Sector 2, into the old part of the city, and in towards the famous castle section. There's been quite a few, well, not collisions, but crashes here over the years. Charles Leclerc does love to have a couple of crashes here. He didn't do it this year, but he did do it obviously coming down as we're going to be at the end of Sector 2 into turn 15, where Joe Murphy is heading right now. Keep the car to the right-hand side to straighten the corner up on the exit as you go through there. Nicely done there from Joe Murphy now. As he comes down the hill into the left-hander, probably the most important corner of the track, because if you mess this up, you're messing up your whole Sector 3 basically, with the straight line speed that you're going to get down towards the start-finish straight. As he then goes to the right-hand side. Now, does he keep it right, or does he just let the car go straight from towards the left? Obviously, some drivers do this slightly differently. It's just all down to personal preference. But Joe Murphy there, coming across the start-finish line. What is it? It's a 37.2 there to get us underway here in qualifying. Blunty there, half a second down. In comparison, let's go on board with last week's winner, Ogween, as he comes across the start-finish line. Now, what can he do in his first run? And the answer is he's 2 tenths down on Joe Murphy, but goes into P2 for the time being. Still quite a few more drivers coming across the finish line. Is that JT coming next to the Williams? There are a few other cars, but some of them are pitting, obviously aborting their laps, whether they invalidated or maybe even had a crash. Where does JT go? goes into 6th with only a 38.4 over a second down. There's going to be, I think there's going to be quite a bit of a field spread here. It is a track that's extremely difficult to get, you know, every single corner perfect in comparison to other circuits there. Minotaur with a 39 going into... 139 days, sorry, into P8. So yeah, there is going to be quite a bit of spread here. Bourbon Boy for XPG, where can he go? And he goes into the top 6 for the XPG team there. Not a bad start there for Bourbon Boy, who have actually for once, and this is of no offence to you, Bourbon, you actually get a banker lap in and you're not having to do it all on your last attempt. Detol has actually come a cropper of the wall. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't seeing things, but he has come a cropper of the wall on his first lap here, and he's missing that front left end plate. Is the TTM driver. Let's see if he does actually finish his lap as to, well, or does he just go on box and then go straight out once again? So 4 drivers did not set a lap time on their initial runs, that being Kieran, Shazoo's Venoms, the Treyarch, and AMS Knight. Detol does decide to complete his lap time and actually does go ahead of 2 drivers for the time being. But obviously this is a very, very early days. The camera is horrible, but what is this? What camera are you on about? Are you on about how dark it is, or...? Tell me what you're on about, Kieran, there. I'm trying to think what you're on about here. Oh, the onboard cam. Oh, sorry. That's just what I have it as. Deal with it. I won't go on it too often then. How does that sound? But what we will do is we will go on board with the Treyarch, because he's actually managed to hit the wall on his outlap. As you can see, he is missing quite a bit of his front wing, so we will go on board with Shazoo's Venom. I'll be surprised if Treyarch doesn't go into the pits, and indeed he does go, stays to the left-hand side and does go into the pits. That's not the best of starts there for the Ferrari man. His teammate Mulder there, currently up in P4, obviously had a good bank lap. Actually, Mulder did do quite well in CSS when we did this a couple of weeks ago, nearly now. I won't mention who won that race. Me. But he did do a good job, Mulder. He did get a podium. So, you know. Let's see what he can do here tonight. As Venom coming into turn 3. The Shazoo man obviously didn't set a lap time on his first attempt. Whether he messed up, hit the wall, I don't know. Let's just annoy Kieran and go on board with him as he ends sector 1. Apparently it's purple. I don't think it is. I'm sure I've seen quicker than a 34.5 first sector. Nicely cuts the corner there. I don't understand how you can do that in this game. You can just cut corners just like... and make your own track up here as he comes through the castle section. Does that very nicely, does Venom. No issues whatsoever, takes plenty of speed. And now all about the exit here, and then up the hill before he starts to come back down the hill again and make it into the braking zone of turn 15. Keeps the car nice and straight, avoids the curb, but there we go, hits the wall on the exit and doesn't actually get damage from that. He's a very lucky boy there. Through turn 16 now, doesn't slide the car out as we saw quite often earlier today. Yes, ref, I know. VAR says red. I mean, it's we could be here all day if it's VAR. We might be waiting 5 minutes for a decision on that one. But here comes Venom to the line. He keeps it to the left-hand side. If that's the shortest run, I don't know. But where does he go? It's up to P6 with a 37.8. Almost 7/10 down, though, on Joe Murphy. Is AMS Knight on a lap? Indeed, he is on his second attempt. He does have a car weaving in front of him. Hopefully that Ferrari gets out of the way. Indeed it does. I think that'll be the Treyarch coming out of the pits again, this time with a complete wing. Why isn't the CSS winner racing? Very good question, Harv. Speak to Smeggy about that one. To be fair, it was Venom's own fault. If he actually... Oh, Knight getting very close there to the wall on the right-hand side. But to be fair, Harv, if Venom didn't actually pit under the VSC, he actually could have won that race. Although I would have told him there were team orders and it'd be multi-21. But anyways, at the end of the day, this is what we've gone with as Knight comes into the final sector. It's not been a bad lap here from Knight. He's had a couple of moments. Yes, I know it's typical me. If I actually completely bottled it. But I didn't. I still managed to hold on. One more lap though, and I think Tech might have got me. But anyway, here comes Knight across the start-finish line to set his first lap time, and he goes into P10 with a 38.3, but over a second down of the likes of, obviously, of Joe Murphy. Where is Joe Murphy? He's actually coming to end his second run. He's not one of the first drivers to do that, but we will stay on board with a provisional pole man. Doesn't use overtake the whole way down, goes back into hot lap for the last part, just so he doesn't derate. And where does he go? He goes just less than a tenth quicker, as I think that's Ogween pulling into the pits. Not happy with his run. What's Raptor doing in P3 was a tenth and a half down, now half a second down, so he will not be improving on his second run. Blunty's decided to hit the outside wall at turn... not Blunty, Mulder's had decided to hit the outside wall at turn 3. Orban has invalidated this time. What's Andrea doing? He is going into the box, so quite a few second runs here being invalidated, or people are not happy with. Who's going to be the next person across the finish line? It's going to be Minotaur, who is 1.3 seconds up at the moment. This will take him into the 37s. He might go into the top 7, potentially top 6 here. Where does Minotaur go? And he goes into P5, just ahead of Mulder. A great second attempt there from Minotaur. Here comes XPG Flame as Joe Murphy's pinned it in the castle section. The provisional pole man on his in lap. Has binned it. Wow. Things I was not expecting. That was one of them. So it's all down now to Tech Brutal. So what you do, I mean, Joe still has a 2/10 gap at the moment to his teammate, and he's still on for pole position. But he's going to have to hope that these last 6 minutes, the likes of Ogween and Raptor especially, don't improve on their final attempts. As we stick on board with TTM Detol here, recently signed Detol for TTM. Coming down in P19, will want to shoot himself up the order. His teammate, though, only in P16. At the moment, where can he go? And the answer is he goes ahead of his team, but only into P15. TTM not having the best of qualifyings, excuse me, at the moment. Come back to, is Tech on a lap? No, he's not, he's on an in lap. Right, so we'll go on board with Rapids, or Rappies, whichever one it is. As he comes through the castle section now and out back onto the newer part of the stadium section, heading down the hill back towards the Caspian Sea. Takes a lot of curb on the inside there, does the CRE man, and didn't seem quite confident there. Just wanted to make sure that he doesn't hit the wall. And he's only done he's 3 seconds now down off his time, so that's he might actually be out of fuel potentially. Venom is further ahead than his teammate, so we will see if there's anybody else on the lap who's a bit further up the road. JT is actually in between them. So the answer is no. So Venom is going to be the next driver to complete a lap time, as he just ends the first sector, just under a tenth and a half up off his previous on his previous best. Didn't have the best of runs through though at the start of sector 2 there. Could have been a bit better if they go as he slides the car in there, and that's an invalidation there for Venom. He'll be coming straight back to the pits. How's JT doing though? So he is not invalidated. He is 3.5 tenths up at the moment, which actually will promote him up to P11. P11 down to to P17 is very close, just over 2/10 separating them. It is much closer in this mid-pack. I will quickly see how is Ogwin doing as he comes to the end of Sector 2, and then I will go back aboard with JT just to see if he can take advantage. And that's the wall, and that's a wing gone, and that's Ogwin done. On this attempt, at least, anyway. But here comes JT, coming to the start-finish line now. Does he complete the lap, or does he box? Because this might be his qualifying done. And the answer is he does continue. He does go into P9, just creeping into the 37s. But that is JT's qualifying finish with. He will not get out for another lap. So the best that he can start for TTM is P9, and it's all down to his teammates to what he can do. On board with Raptor now, looking very good at has been looking very good the last few weeks as the FLT man in driving in for the McLaren. He thinks he's Oscar Piastri here tonight, but let's see if he can produce a winning performance through turn 15, down the hill now into turn 16. Is he up on his time? He was down in the first sector. He's found time in that middle sector. A little bit of lag there. Thankfully, it wasn't him just sliding that rear end. He is a 10th up. It is enough that might promote him to P2 at least, but might not trouble Joe Murphy. He's all out of deployment now. Just look at the speed. He's just derating across the line. He loses that bit of time, and as a result, he only improves by 1 place, but he does at least go ahead of Ogwin and is at least onto the racing line aspects of the second row. Not that that means anything for people on this game. Like there, nearly 2/10 down. Bourbons has backed out, so Knight is the only person on a lap at the moment. So obviously JT's now finished. He'll be coming back to the pits. Raptor's now finished. He'll be coming back into the pits. Knight once again getting extremely close to the outside of the castle section, and he is really, really putting out all the stops here to try and promote himself up further up the grid. I don't think Raptor knows what battery is, but that is how you turn in too early. That is bunny hopping there at its finest. Kieran has decided he's had enough, so he will be starting P20 and last on the grid. Knight actually was up through the middle sets. He could have been further up if he didn't turn in too early through turn 15. Let's see if he can find a bit more time in this final sector. And unlike others, he is not derating, and he only improves by 1 position in the end, up to P14. So right, so we know Bourbon is going again. Treyarch, I'm just trying to see who's the next person to complete their lap. And I think it's going to be Andrea. And it is Andrea, over 3.5 tenths up. So this at the moment, he will be in the hunt with the likes of Venom, Blunty, maybe even Mold if he can find a little bit more time through this last sector. Currently down in P13, unlucky P13 for Andrea. Comes out of overtake, back onto hot lap, does not want to derate across the line. He's got more overtake, he can use it if he wants to. Where does he go? He actually lost time in the final sector and only improves to P9, goes ahead of JT at least, as the final runs are ticking off. The last few seconds here, and it is it Ogwin was the last one to start a lap? It was Ogwin going to be the last one to start a lap. Knox 8.5 tenths, so there is a car actually just further up ahead of him. I don't know why I just didn't realise that before. Which is going to be Niall, who's actually 2 tenths down. So I'm going to stick on board with Knox. He's going to be the first driver to finish this. And he's already out of deployment, so he's going to be just losing time. Hand over fist. Where does he go? He does improve to P13 at least. We have a Ferrari now coming across the line. That is Treyarch. Where does he go? And the answer is he goes up into P8 for the time being, but we've still got plenty more drivers coming across the start-finish line. Mulder, over a 10th up, already derating. He's used all of his deployment. Is that going to punish him? Can he get ahead of Minotaur at least? The answer is he does not. That's Minotaur now coming across the line, but he's actually way down in his time. His teammate not too far behind. I know there are a couple more drivers. Tech did not improve in the end. There is an RB coming across the line. That is Borbin. He does not improve. Does Blunty improve? Where can he go? He goes ahead of his teammate, but joins him on the third row. Goes up into P5. A great effort there. Is that Venom up next? Indeed, it is Venom up next. He's not improving. Can he at least gain some time in that final set? He actually equals his best lap time. But let's get aboard with Ogween. 200s up. And he goes into P2. He goes ahead of Supply Raptor and Tech Brutal. But Joe Murphy, after crashing out with 6 minutes left to go in qualifying, somehow manages to hang on. Flame is going to be the last one to finish, but he's 23 seconds down. So Joe Murphy just clearly decided to bin it and thought that he was comfortable at that particular point, and he still manages to hold it and goes and is on pole position here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. From Shazoo's Ogween, it is the 1-2 that we had last week, and they are 1-2 again here today, and will obviously put us on another show. Tech Brutal there signing P3, Raptor in 4th, but shout out there to Blunty and Minotaur, P5 and P6. For EVR there, fantastic qualifying for them. So there is the starting grid for you, and as I said, there we go. So Joe Murphy is on pole position from Ogween and Tech Brutal, with Raptor, Blunty and Minotaur. Then we have an Ferrari of Mulder and Triarty in P7 and P8. Venom down in P9, not the qualifying he would have wanted. Let's see what he can do from there. Andrea rounds out your top 10. Then you have Rapids, JT, Nox, Bourbon, Knight, Nile, Jacob, Detop, Flame, and then Kieran rounding off the grid just casually a second and a half, nearly 1.6 off the next car in front. But it's all about the race. Obviously, we're now going to have the lull. Who's on comms? Come on, Mozza. Who's on comms? Who do you think it is? It's an OAP who needs a walking stick for Christmas. Sounds. I sound like Nath. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know if I take insult to that, actually, come to think of it. In fact, I do. I've decided I do. That's an insult. Where's the, Can I ban him from talking in the chat? I'm joking. I'm not that cruel. Right, so now we're going to have everybody crashing and doing whatever. There's an RB there. Oh, everyone decided that turn 1 is no longer a corner. Hamilton knows all about that. He didn't break in time for turn 1, you know, 3 years ago. Just saying. Oh my god, they actually did it fairly quickly. Yeah, let's hope we have as good a race tonight as we did earlier today. Obviously, for those who didn't watch today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, I thought that was a phenomenal race. AMS double podium, we will be there. I don't see it happening tonight, Kieran, but you never know. We've seen sillier things, like me winning a race, for example. Who's at fault, though? Perez or Sainz? Now, there's a question. So here's my personal take. It's a tricky one. I mean, yes, Sainz technically is moving left away from the white line, but that straight is technically not straight at the start. It does kink slightly left. Although, if I am to put more blame on somebody else, I mean, I know Perez is wanting to come, sorry, not Perez, I know Sainz is wanting to come further away from the wall, as you want to. You don't want to be right up against it. But you can only blame Sainz for that. He's the only person you can blame, and I do expect him to get some form of a penalty. Obviously, where he'll have penalty points added, obviously, but then it's a case of what he'll get for Singapore. Anyway, that's my take. Obviously, everyone else is going to have their opinion. Quite a lot of you, it seems like, are blaming Saints, and that would be the logical choice. Let's see how long it takes JT to get the lobby set up and ready. Not quite my levels, maybe, but we'll see. Be nice to know, everyone, and get your thoughts in the chat of what we're going to expect from today's race. How many safety cars or VSCs are we going to get? Harvey thinking that Raptor is winning today. Kieran, I think you just, yeah. That's an interesting one, Simba. Although you are that is technically very true. Um, but you felt privileged doing that. Who doesn't want to speak to me apart from everybody else? Although it's not a good thing if you happen to speak to me. It can only mean one thing. One thing I will say, Simba, congratulations on your obviously signing for a new team. Hopefully that goes well for you. Not. The problem is, Harv, you can't tell me to shush, at least not until the race finishes. Or else you're just not going to have any commentary. And you're welcome, Simba. Don't worry. It's what I'm here for. I'm always here to give people the encouragement and the, give you the vibe and everything, and then I'll just shatter it. No comms for turn 1, lap 1. Oh, JT, it didn't take as long as I thought. Cool. Right. I've just told everyone to go and to when to ready up. It's nice to have power. Yeah, I think I might just not say anything for... I'll just say it's lights out, and then we'll just see how much carnage we have into turn 1. Hey, Harv, how good does it feel that you finally got your first points of the season for WR? It took long enough. Just think you'd have been lower down if a certain driver had a drive-through and decided to brake 90,000 meters too early for a corner, or else I'd have finished ahead of you. That's also not ideal, yes. I will admit I agree with you in that, Simba, but I mean, I guess you could sort of say I benefited from it because I at least then got some points from that race. Although I do not advise 26 laps on the hard tyres. That rear left tyre was crying. But the pace was good. Good evening, Barney. Yeah, feeling good. I'm not feeling good at the fact that it's back to work tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, happy with, obviously, United won yesterday, my local town Barrow won yesterday, McLaren won today. It's been a good weekend. The average WR race is about the equivalent of genocide. Interesting. Okay, I technically live in Askham, but for 16 years, well, actually, no, a lot longer than that. 23 years of my life, I did live in Barrow. Yes. But hey, good start to the season. I'm not complaining. Top three. Let's just not bottle it, and not be in the top. At least in the playoffs all season long, and lose out on the final day this time. So I did say to the drivers we can ready up at 34, so I am expecting them to go at any point. And indeed we are. There we go. It looks like the McLaren's actually not in its box there. So that's technically a penalty. And Flame has jumped the start, but it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start there from Ogween, looking like he was about to go on the inside. But look at Tech round the outside off turn 2. And there is carnage in the background. It was predicted. And there you go. So that's CRE Rapids with a lot of wing damage, and I presume a lot of other drivers as well. Got on the wrong one there. There we go. Tyres. Oh my god, everyone is boring. Medium tyres the whole way. And Venom has got a 10-second penalty for gaining a position, which he's going to serve in the pits. Why not just give it back? Unless the guy was like a long way down the grid, but that's unfortunate. But anyway, we'll carry on. And well, it's the perfect start for BRT. They're running 1-2. Ogween is dropping back. Has he got himself wing damage? And yes, he does. Ogween has got wing damage. Front left end plate is completely missing. And BRT are going to absolutely run away with this. Nice ad. Perfect timing for an ad. But there we go. So Tech Brutal and Joe Murphy can now control this race. Raptor now is going to have to get the move done on Shazoo Ogween, or else they're just going to lose that massively. Blunty there up in P5, doing a good job there. Mulder trying to make his way back through the field. I think he was caught up in the carnage early on. But there you go. So it's Joe Murphy at least from Tech Brutal. Ogween does stay out in P3. Raptor in P4. I'm actually trying to think where Ogween picked up the damage. I've got absolutely no idea. As an RB, that'll be Flame going to serve his drive-through. That's how you take it. If you get a drive-through, just serve it straight away and don't be an arsehole. But moving on. So 1.5 seconds is the gap from second to third. Venom is now also dropping out of the DRS from JT, and from JT has had a very good start. He's gained a few places. Does Venom also have damage? And the answer is yes. So that's both Shazoo drivers with wing damage on the first lap. And maybe this is why I should never do comms. I clearly bring the bad luck. But if anything, well, Minotaur also has front wing damage there on his Haas. So wing damage galore here. I'm going to go through the whole grid and check everyone's front wing, apart from the top 3, which I already know. So Raptor's got a full wing. So does Blunty. No, he does. Knight looks like he does. I did see a few other drivers look like they get picked up wing damage in the midfield. unless it was just potentially Venom and Minotaur. Nice bit of lag there from Bob and going through. It looks like everybody else seems to be okay. Yes, I know Minnow has damage. I did say that. I did mention it. And yes, I am awake. Shut up. Raptor there getting the move done on Ogwyn fairly comfortably. So he now goes up into P3, but he's got a 1.8 second gap to Joe Murphy now, and the BRT are just going to do the swap over every single lap, so one can use the ERS, the other one can save it, and there'll be role reversal every single lap. Ogwyn now going to come under threat as Joe Murphy actually retakes the lead very quickly. Actually didn't expect that. Thought they'd do it on the main straight. But what can Blunty do here for EVR? Currently in P5. Obviously, Ogwyn with that wing damage. See what you can do. This could be a good race for Blunty actually in 3VR. Obviously Minotaur does have that wing damage, still up in P9 though, as Blunty getting very close to the back of the Red Bull's diffuser. Interesting choice of camera there from the game. Trinity then P6, and there's been a crash in the castle section. I'll get my words out. TTM Dettel is out of this race, and there's the safety car. It's taken to lap 3, and that is a saviour for the Shizou drivers. They can now pit, get the front wings changed, and well, they're going to drop down the field. There's no doubt about that. Venom especially, because he's only 4 places behind his teammate. But the safety car is out. Oh yeah, I know the hard's going to be screaming. It might be a 2-stop from this point on. So what do BRT do? Both of them pit. So Tech is going to lose out here. Raptor stays out. Does anybody else decide to stay out? Is everybody pitting? No, so his teammate Andrea stays out. Now Gio also stays out, but it looks like the rest of the grid is all pitting for the hard compound tyre. I mean, they'll save a bit of tyre wear for the next lap or two at least, with the safety car being out, but can these hards make it to the end on what will be 21 racing laps? I'm not too sure. It could become a 2-stopper here at this point onwards, but FRT have rolled dice, and they've decided that they think the best plan of action is to stay out and then do the traditional strategy unless we get another safety car. So as predicted, their Venom had to wait about a century before he could get serviced in the pits to get his front wing changed. And he has now dropped down to what is 19th and last. Ogwyn down in P11. So Shizou not having a great start to this race. They have a lot of work to do. However, TTM are also now just down to the one driver, down to JT. We'll see how this has changed the positions in terms of everyone from where they initially started. Obviously, the big winner there is now, obviously, because he's not pitted. But look at that, Venom down 10 places, Ogwyn down 9 places. So, a lot of work to do here for them, but the race is still young. As Flame is clearly taking his time to catch back up to the pack. I'm guessing they've got a delta, which is probably why he can't. Looks like no one is going to make a second pit stop. Is that Venom going into the pits, or was he just weaving? He was just weaving. So hopefully now they won't have that delta and they can start to close back in, and maybe we might get back under racing come the end of this lap. But it is Raptor who leads. Decided not to put under the safety car along with his teammate and Niall. And these three are going to have to do a bit of a hold-up job and hopefully not lose too many places. And come up with a well, they're going with the traditional strategy. Trying to multitask at the same time whilst messaging is not ideal. Right, now that that's over and done with. I can see some nice, interesting things in the chat. Blunty kills Joe so you can repay me for making you win Tifa. Okay, well that might be interesting. I mean, Blunty is all over the back of Joe Murphy, as obviously we're about to get back under green flag conditions. But obviously, Blunty did gain from that. Tech obviously has lost a few places, but it's not too far behind his teammates, at least, not compared to others who would have been held up for the double stack aspect. But let's go on board with Joe Murphy as we, when Raptor decides he's going to go, probably going to leave this as late as possible and try and help his teammate to get ahead of the Alpine that's sandwiched in between. And there goes Raptor. He's gone a little early, I want to say, but he's definitely got Andrea out. Venom has had a severe collision and he's got himself another 10-second penalty. That's interesting. Oh, Joe Murphy there locking up the brakes, going into turn one. And Tech there has just completely missed his braking point altogether and has just gone from P8. He's down to P13. Thought it was going to be P14 for a second. I couldn't quite tell. I just saw him in the background. I didn't know if he just locked up completely. Obviously, his tyres are clearly not up to temperature. But that is Tech now with even more work to do for BRT. Obviously, not his fault, the fact that he had to double stack behind his teammate. But this is not going the way of the BRT man. Flame there now up into P15. Somehow making places up early. Venom did hit. Venom's now got more wing damage again. So Venom, maybe Harv, you were right. Maybe Venom shouldn't have raced tonight, and maybe I should have done at this rate. Maybe I think we might have a few discussions. Oh, Andrea's made a mistake now into turn 15. Has he just? He hasn't got any damage. I'm guessing he's just done a Max Verstappen and just completely cut the corner. I've completely missed that. No, he didn't actually. He did go to the outside and just about missed the wall, and somehow no one's collided with him. But what it has done is it has broken up the field a little bit, as further back Ogwin now going up and making a move on Knight, and Jacob also trying to do the same thing. As Niall has just retired from the race as he hit the wall. He's hit the outside wall at turn 1. He was running in P2, and we have the second safety car of the race. What is going on tonight? I mean, well, I suppose it means Venom can change his wing again, serve his 10 seconds, and he can start from scratch again. But, yeah, this is a very, very scrappy race. But what do FRT do now? They weren't banking on another safety car, and it has come out now a little bit earlier than maybe what they'd have wanted or anticipated. But do they both now pit onto the hard tyres, have the slightly better wear and go to the end of the race, or do they continue and extend this medium run for maybe, well, until when the pit window opens for them? They've now got this big, huge predicament that, let's see what they do. Actually, we will go on board with Raptor, see what he does. Not sure why he's running in. Interesting. So, I've just noticed that my party had ended that I was in, and it's just, yeah. Absolutely no idea why, but there you go. I wondered why I saw my name coming up in the bottom corner. Venom has gone for a set of soft tyres. Interesting choice. But because he's so far back off the of everybody in front, obviously he had to serve that 10-second penalty. He's then had a front wing change. So my assumption is he'll go back onto the hard tyres. But Flames say 10 teams in provisional top 10. Well, considering there's 2 McLarens, I'm going to say that's not right. Unless you're on about something else, but I'm going to presume you're on about this race. So, coming to the end of lap 8, the start of lap 9, I think we're soon going to have more laps behind the safety car than we actually are in the actual, racing laps here. Does Venom go into the pits? The answer is yes, he does, coming off those soft tyres and go on to another set of hards, or it could be the same hard set of tyres that he was on earlier. Obviously, Rapids has gone to the mediums. Not sure if they're going to get to the end of the race, but he's going to have a lot more grip, and FRT did decide to stay out. And I'm going to go with a traditional strategy. So yeah, Venom does indeed go back onto the hard tyres, showing that he did not have 2 sets of hard tyres for this race. That's why sometimes for a track like this, you go with a harder compound set. You might want that second set of hard tyres. So Venom's now caught back up, and hopefully he will go back under green. This party is still working. 37 people of you watching. Try and get some more people let's see what we can get. Does the safety car come in this lap? Indeed it does. Raptor will now start to back up the field once again for the second restart of this race. He'll decide when he wants the bolt. This time he does not have the luxury of his teammate in close behind him because the mistake Andrea made. And he's got Joe Murphy all over the back of him. Look at that Blunty up in P3 now, Triati in P4. All to play for here. I think Blunty might have a nosebleed, but let's see if that wing stays intact for the next 17 laps. When does Raptor decide to bolt? The answer is now. People are not staying in line. I'm sure you're meant to stay in single file, but I don't know. But here we go, back under green flag conditions, and look at that, Knight already trying to go down the inside of Jacob into turn 1 there in the background. And Andrea has he just gone off again? Oh, what's happened to Andrea? Has he turned it too early for turn 1? Or has he had the contact? There might have been contact there. But that is Andrea now, down towards the back of the field, and this is now all down to Raptor. Jacob fighting here with the Aston Martin of Knox. Obviously, he's been passed by Knight, been passed by Tech, and he's already down into P10. Some more overtaking going on in the background. That's Mulder and Flame going side by side, coming into turn 4, and the Ferrari man who's doing a recovery drive after the initial start on lap 1. Makes his way up into P13. Out in front, we'll go back towards the leaders. Joe Murphy, 2/10 behind Raptor. And I think these hard tyres are definitely now the better tyre to be on already at this point. Simbarox 1 just confirmed that Andrea has been murdered. I'm trying to think who he was near at the time. He was in P5, so was that with JT? Was it with Bob? But I'm not sure. But Ogwin now going for a move on JT at the exit of the castle section. He gets the move done, so Ogwin on a recovery drive of his own after the wing damage he sustained on the first lap. Back up into P6, and he's now got JT in his sight. Joe Murphy, though, 3/10 now, sorry, behind Supply Raptor. Surely he's going to get this move done, but Blunty will have to follow him. Obviously, because of him being on these hard compounded tyres, Raptor then not putting up a defence at all, and Joe Murphy does just fly past, and he will take the lead at the end of lap 10. Brutal, actually, I think just got ahead of AMS Knight there, up into P8 further in the background. Mulder now battling away with Minotaur, and he's now up into P12. Andrea speeding into the pits. That's his race done, I think. I think he's just going to retire at this point. Unfortunate for Andrea, obviously, if he had been killed. But, in fact, he hasn't retired, actually. Side by side, though, further up. And that's Knox round the outside. As Mulder into the wall. No front wing. We have another safety car. That's the third one. We're not even halfway into the race. My assumption is, considering as to where he was, he got a tap. I'm not too sure who he was with. I know there was the likes of Venom and Minotaur and Rapids near him. I don't know what it was or who it was, but there's no damage on Venom's car. Is there any? There is damage on Minotaur's car, so maybe it was Mulder and Minotaur that were involved here. I'm not too sure. But that is the third safety car already, ladies and gentlemen. And now, at this point, FRT will pit. Raptor has to pit. He's got no choice. It's the right time now, and those hards will be in a much better condition. And indeed he does. There he goes. Pulls to the left-hand side, and he is going to make a pit stop. Does anybody else follow him? There is somebody else following him. Is that JT coming to the pits? No, it's not. It is JT coming to the pits. So TTM, JT, Jacob also pitted. Rapids also pitted. Flame is in the pits. Quite a few people taking advantage of this safety car. They're going onto the medium compounder tyres. I'm not too sure that they're going to do half the race. But but they will be considerably quicker at the start. Surprisingly, Minotaur does not pit. Bit of a strange one, that, if I'm brutally honest, as to why he wouldn't pit, but there you go, considering that he does have front wing damage. This is going to turn out to be one of the longest races I think I've had to commentate on. Ever since I had to commentate on 100% races back in the, what would it be? The F1 2013 days. Those were long nights. Well, we read it up at 34, Kieran. So we've been 25 minutes is we've been going on for, and at the end of lap 13, we will have eventually have hit the halfway point. But Andrea is going very slowly. So we could be on for another 1 or 2 laps here before the safety car does come in. But Joe Murphy is back at the front of the race lead from where he started. Even with the safety cars that we've had, it has still worked out for him, but not his teammate. Tech is somehow in P6. After completely missing turn 1 at the last restart, and dropping to P13, obviously with people pitting, he's managed to find his way back into P6. Venom now up into P9 after the interesting first 13 laps that he's had. And AMS actually up into P7 and 8, obviously staying out, and hopefully they can hold on for that. But obviously, from Raptor downwards, everyone is on brand new tyres, near enough, apart from Raptors who's on 2-lap old tyres, whether they're on hards or, in the case of Raptor, everybody else being on mediums. Hopefully Andrea will catch up to the back of the pack on this lap and we can get racing once again, but... And indeed we are. So, here we go again. Joe Murphy's turn this time to back the pack up and to get us back under green. And once we get under racing conditions once again, let's go on board with Tech. Let's see if he can do turn 1 better this time. If you can also see the ad there on your screen, click to buy now, $38.90 from Prime, whatever it is they're selling. No, thank you. Joe Murphy leaving it a bit later compared to what Raptor did, pretty much at the start of the pit entrance. And here we go, back under green flag conditions. So look at Tech. Border Boy trying to get a move done here on the outside of Ogwe going into turn 1. Can he get the move done? Tech breaking earlier this time to make sure that he doesn't completely miss the corner. And he does get it stopped this time. And it looks like just about in the background as well, they got away with it. But everyone is through. Just about. There's a Haas there of Minotaur on the inside. Bear in mind, he has got wing damage. Still a bit perplexed as to why he did not pit, but Raptor's already got ahead of Kieran. He will now want to get the move done. on Minotaur, and indeed he does. So Raptor there already making up a couple of places. JT's going down. JT's going further down the field. There's been another incident, this time involving JT, and he's lost places hand over fist. Battling away with Jacob there, and those two are now already dropped out of the DRS off to the top 16. Raptor now getting a move done on the inside of Knox before the start of the castle section. Raptor is on a mission. He's now got a bit of a gap to try and close in onto Shizu's Venom, but look at that, he's got 7 lap fresher tyres to Venom and 8 lap fresher hards compared to everybody else in front of him. Raptor is in a good position at the moment. He's going to have to get moves done soon, and he's going to have to try and close in back within a second of the cars in front. Tech there getting close to the back of Bob, and oh, a bit of a mistake there from both Knight and Venom, both of them making the same mistake. But here comes Tech now onto the inside of the final King on Bomboy. Bomboy not defending that at all, and Tech now goes back into P5 and will set his sights onto the back of Shizu's Ogween as Joe Murphy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and has already pulled out of a second of DRS onto Blunty, which I did kind of expect. That's of no disrespect to Blunty, but I did see that coming, as Venom now on the inside of turn 2 and gets the move done on Knight, both of them making a mistake on the final corner, but then Venom did get the move done there, but he's not got the DRS off Bourbon in front of him, and he's now got a bit of work to do to try and get back within that 1 second window. Has Minotaur just gone straight on at turn 3? I think he has. Yes, he's in reverse, and Minotaur's race has now just gone from bad to worse himself. So that's one EVR driver gone. The second one is in P2, and it's causing, and is basically a train from himself down to Knox in P10. Oh, as he gets very close. Look how close they're all getting to the wall through the castle section. It is literally close your eyes and pray. Ogwe now closing in onto the back of Trey RT, who's actually falling a little way. He did initially just fall a bit away as in the background. Oh, that's Raptor making a mistake through turn 15. Just in the background there, just lost all traction. But here comes Ogwe now on the battery, trying to close in on the back of the Ferrari man in front of him. Blunty is not going to have DRS, so he could lose out on 2 places here. And here we go, going forward with Shizu Ogween. Does Trey RT make the move? Yes, he does. Does Ogween try and follow him through on the inside into turn 1? Goes to Shizu man, and Ogween does indeed get the move done. Blunty losing 2 places into turn 1, and he gets back onto the podium. Venom and Knight having a little scrap there in the background, and Raptor taking advantage and gets his... Oh! Is that Bob just making a... Bob just made a complete mistake into turn 2. Looked like he completely lost the rears. And now Raptor trying to go for a move down the inside to turn 3, just about leaving enough space. That is squeaky bum time. Bob is not happy with that. He's fighting to try and keep this position, but I think the inevitable is going to happen here. Raptor's got the inside line into the left-hander. It's the start of Sector 2, and indeed he does. He does move himself up into P7. And Blunty has also made a mistake because he's now dropped over 2 seconds to Trey RT and to Ogween. Has Blunty got wing damage? The answer is he doesn't. I'm not sure as to what's happened, as Kieran is now... Looks like he's reversing at turn 3. So yeah, not too sure what's happened to Blunty. He's obviously made a big mistake somewhere and just dropping down the order, which is very unfortunate. Or has he gone into AI? Looks like he's driving very, very weirdly. It is very peculiar. Is Shizu Ogween going to go for the move here? Just go on board with these two. The answer is no, he's not interested in the slightest. Is Tech Brutal going to make a move on Blunty? The answer is no, but here comes Venom now on the inside of Tech Brutal, and there's my answer. Why? Tech Brutal has got wing damage. He and Blunty clearly have come together at some point. Well, that's what I'm thinking. As Ogwin has now got the move done on Treyarch on the second DRS straight, going in between turns 2 and 3. Venom now up into P5. And yeah, so Ted Brutal with wing damage there, not ideal. And he's now going to suffer for the remaining, well, 9 laps of this race. But Shazoo, after what was a terrible start for them, now into P2 and P5 respectively, it's been a good recovery for the team so far, but there's still a long way to go. Raptor once again getting a lot of wheel spinning in these traction zones. You know, he's got, oh, well, I've just seen it. I think you all just saw it there. Raptor's hit the wall at the castle section, and he's now lost a part of his front wing. I'm losing my voice here. This is, there is just action everywhere you go. Somehow Ted Brutal is sticking here with Venom. Venom's struggling a lot here. He's not got damage unless it's minor and it's not visible, but clearly Venom's struggling for some reason on this particular lap. Does he have the DRS? Yes, he does. He's having to use it because Tech is thinking of going for the move here as both of them close in onto the back of Blunty. Look like there's no moves being made side by side there in the background, and that is Borba getting ahead of AMS Knight for P7 as Raptor does indeed go into the box, and FRT's day has just gone, they have swapped with Shazoo. It's gone from good to bad, and both of them now towards the back end of the field. In the background there, Jacob looking for a move down the inside of turn 3 on Nox, and that's a good move there by Jacob, getting himself up into P12, so CRE in 10th and 12th for the time being. A little bit of a recovery drive for them, but once again, here comes Jacob once again sending it down the inside of Mulder, and there just wasn't quite the space, maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Jacob. You know, Mulder's got the 1 lap fresher tyres, both of them on the mediums, and well, they just need to maybe try and work together and get ahead of these hard tyre roads. But with this lot all squabbling and the mistakes cropping in or creeping in, those on the hard tyres that stayed out and were at the front of the field are just romping away with this. Borba now coming under threat from AMS Knight. Blunty doing a good job ever since obviously the incident that he had. Again, presuming with Tech, he's doing a good job. He's kept that gap to 2.3 seconds to the 2 in front. Venom just about able to live with the pace that Blunty has got. But the gap out in front, 3.6 seconds between John Murphy and Ogween. John Murphy's gap is just increasing by the second. In the background there, Borbin losing out a position to AMS Knight. His teammate Flame trying to make a double move into turn 1. Does he get the car stopped? Yes, he does. Knight trying to go for a little bit of a switch back into turn 2. But thinks better of it and tucks back in behind. Borbin there, I think, giving him a little love tap there, going into turn 2. But Flame is on those medium compound tyres, and he's making them to full effect. Ferrari there of Mulder in the background. He's going to try and make a move on Rapids into turn 3. Side by side. Oh, was there contact there? There's definitely some contact there. Some people need to calm down a little bit. Oh, there's Nox there getting close to JT, who's actually lost 2 end plates. He's going with the front wing that you used to see back in on the Ferraris into the, oh god, what was it, the 70s and 80s. Mulder looks like he's okay. Looks like he's got no damage. Whether he has maybe light green damage and it's not noticeable, but it does look like it's okay. As once again, Jacob trying to fake a move on Mulder. But here comes AMS Knight. Nothing really happened up in front. Just a bit of DRS trades between the several groups that we have. Everything's splitting up, but Knight goes back into P7 once again. Flame now potentially maybe thinking of a move. In fact, Barber thinking of a move on his teammate Flame, and he does indeed get the move done. Now Mulder trying to go around the outside of the XPG man going into turn 2. Is there enough space there? Flame being very, very considerate and courteous does leave enough space. It's going to be a DRS drag down into turn 3. Flame does get ahead of the Ferrari man. Mulder not going to late break into turn 3, and Flame at least manages to hold on to P9. That's the first time I've actually seen, or at least for a little while actually, someone actually managing to leave space for another driver. So kudos there to Flame. Never thought I'd say those words, but there you go. You know, credit where it's due. The gap now up to 4.2 seconds between Joe Murphy and Ogween. Joe Murphy's just he's just clearly another level above everybody here. Coming through turn 15 once again, down the hill into turn 16, along the Caspian Sea once again. Bomb Boy not particularly close to AMS Knight. Knight may be able to hold on to this P7. Out further up, Venom is the closest I have seen him to Blunty ever since he's been behind him. Does he decide to go for the move, or is he going to try and save his battery? The answer is he's going to save his battery and go for an attack later in this race. Tech there trying to stay in with them with the damage he's got, doing a decent job at least in P6, and Knight indeed does hold on to his P7 quite comfortably. And for the first time in a long while, we've not had an overtake. Or a collision. But something's bound to happen. Oh, Mulder there looks like he broke very late going into turn 3. May have caught Flame off guard, but I think that was because... Oh, that's JT gone straight on at turn 3. But yeah, I think that was Knight making a mistake on Bourbon actually getting a move done. It goes into P7. And Mulder now making a mistake coming through the start of Sector 2, and a bit of ghosting there between him and Jacob. He manages to just about hold on to P10. But this midfield pack, from 7th down to 13th. You got 2 XPG, 2 AMS, 2 CRE, and the lone soul Mulder all on his own. We're going to have a few little games here being played, I wonder. Five laps to go now as Joe Murphy starts lap 22 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and here we go once again. Bourbon not going to defend the position here from Knight. Knight is going to get the move done once again. I don't think Flame is going to go for a move. He's going to stick him behind his teammate. So there we go. Knight back up into P7. And that is the first genuine 3-second time penalty of this race. And it goes to Mr. Kieran. Never mind. Minotaur getting overtaken by Supplier Raptor for P16 of what is a day and a race to forget for FRT. And Minotaur, after his good qualifying, decided not to pit with that wing damage that he's got. It's cost him. He's now down into P17. CRE there getting a bit of a driver swap going on. Rapid's now going ahead of Jacob. I wonder if Jacob has made a mistake. And, oh, that's desync. Thank goodness for that. I thought that was actual collision there between Nox and Jacob, but it has split this pack up a little bit. And there's an Aston Martin in the wall there, and I wasn't seeing things. The Aston Martin of Nox had gone into the wall there. It looked like he'd locked up, and now he's missing part of his wing. That's probably at least yellow, if not orange wing damage. That's definitely orange wing damage, if not red, actually. In fact, that does look like it may be red damage, because I had that for CSS for the last lap and a half. Mulder now onto the back of XPG Flame here. Flame might have to actually get a move on, obviously get his teammate to go ahead of 90. He might have to himself go for a move, because Mulder's getting very, very racy. Look at them, how close they're going to be. Is he going to be 3 wide into turn 1? Knight has lost 3 places because of the DRS. Does Flame hang on the inside over Mulder? Plenty, very respectable there from Flame. And Mulder gets the move done. Knight now going for an inside move into turn 2 on Flame, who did not have the run through turn 1. And he does retake P9 provisionally until making a mistake, and Flame retakes that back again. But Mulder being quite aggressive, but gets the job done, gains 2 places for that. Now has his sights set on Bourbon Boy in front of him. Let's go a little bit further up, and Venom and Tech have now closed in onto the back of Blunty. Not too sure how that's managed to happen, but Venom with a full battery. Tech not quite. How's Blunty's doing? The same as Tech, but Venom with a full battery, doing a great job here. And Treyarch also doing a very good job, sticking with Ogwyn, who 6.5 seconds now behind Joe Murphy. Again, as I said, Joe Murphy is just on another planet here tonight, but this could be Venom's first opportunity to get a move done, if he wants to do it. Tech's used a lot of battery to try and close in onto the back of them, so he keeps his DRS. Venom 4/10 down here. His Tech actually thinking they're going to go for a move actually here on Venom. He is indeed. He's going to catch Venom off guard, and a little bit of a mistake there from Venom, and Tech gets the move done and gets himself up into P5. Oh, Flame, what have you just done? He's done a Hamilton. He's missed his braking point. There was all the good stuff we were saying about him, his clean racecraft, and then he just goes and spoils it all by doing something stupid, by maybe locking up into turn 1. Not quite the same lyrics as the song, but there you go. Mulder now, getting that move done, has now checked out. He's pulled away from this group, which is now reduced to 4 drivers, and Mulder now looking comfortable in P7, 1.7 seconds clear of Knight, obviously in his 20-lap-old hard tyres. These hard tyres, they will get to the end, but they're not going to be in the best of condition, as, I mean, Ogweed's now lost 2 seconds on this lap to Joe Murphy, but Treyarch has lost the DRS, and Blunty is closing in onto the back of the Ferrari driver. This is not all over. 2 laps to go. Can Blunty get a podium? As here comes Venom now on the button, on the overtake. Needs to get this move done on Tech. Tech hasn't not quite got enough battery, I think, to defend this. He's down the inside here from Venom. Tech's going to try and hang it round the outside. Venom just about gives him enough space and get very respectable driving. And Tech, how is he hanging on to this with the condition of his wing there? He's got a little bit of contact there through turn 2. But I think Tech is going to hold on here. And he doesn't. Oh, and well, there we go. That's Flame now done. I think they might be coming together with him and JT maybe, because JT's lost out. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. The battle is still going on. Oscar! What are you doing? Oh, a bit of contact there between Jacob and Knight. This is... Tell you what, this race has been interesting. A lot of argy-bargy, a lot of aggression. I think some people need to calm down a little bit. I've noticed that Ogwen has closed in a second. That's because Joe Murphy has got a full battery and he's not using any battery whatsoever. Is he going for fastest lap on the last lap? It is quite possible. Oh, there's an Aston Martin in the wall. That will be Knight. Knight has now made a mistake. And unfortunately, now he's not going to be able to battle with the CRE boys in front of him. JT losing a position to Minotaur because of the damage that he's got. But let's stay on board with this battle for P4. Blunty not been able to close in onto the back of Triarty. The gap has stabilised at 1.7 seconds, but Venom and Tech have now re-caught the Haas driver. They're going to save what battery they can and make a move on the final DRS straight for what will be for P4. We'll have to see, Justin, if Venom's penalty can be removed. We're not too sure. We will come back to this this battle. I do want to stay on board with it because I want to see what's going to happen. We will come back to it, but here we are with Joe Murphy. He has been on a different level compared to everybody else here tonight. Has the BRT man, 8.5 second gap. Joe Murphy wins here at Baku Ferry C round 6. Great drive there from the BRT man. Ogwin will finish P2. Treyarch will be P3, but the battle for P4 is still going. Venom's not quite got the battery. And is he going to get him? No, he's not. Blunty holds on to P4. Tech will move up to P5 for now with Venom's penalty. We'll see if that can get removed. But a great drive there from the EVR man to hold on. Mulder gets P7 and retires at the end. The CRE with a photo finish across the line. Jacob getting P8 head of Rapids. Actually, that'll be for P9 and P10, actually. JT has crashed out. Going into the final. That's interesting. Yeah, he's crashed. That's no points. No points for TTM tonight. It's not been a good race for TTM, and they will lose out in second place in the standings. It's a fair point, that, Dams, actually. People should realistically stay in the lobby until everyone is finished, and then go. Because now people have got, you know, inquiries to put in, blah, blah, blah. But yes, that was a very peculiar race. Jacob getting driver of the day somehow, probably because of where he started. My driver of the day is going to go to Joe Murphy, because he just did a fantastic job all race. But there we have it. So BRT's Joe Murphy does win the Grand Prix, and manages to get it this time from Shizuoka Green, but this week it was considerably easier. So there we have it. That's the 6th round of the season I'll finish with. Joe Murphy wins the race from Ogween, and Treyarch is your top 3. Blunty with a great result there into P4 of what could have been a potential podium. Tech in P5, and Venom rounds out the top 6. You then have Bourbon. Well, I say Bourbon, it'll actually be Mulder in 7th. Then Bourbon, Jacob, Rapids, Knight. Raptor somehow managed to recover to P11 and get fastest, well, P12, and realistically getting fastest lap. Andrea, Minotaur, Knox. And then, well, obviously there's Mulder, but obviously he'll go back into P7. And then your non-finishers were Kieran. JT technically classified even though he crashed in the final lap. Flame, Nal, and Dettel. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. My voice is just about to go. I hope you enjoyed watching that. For everyone who was here tonight, all 40-odd of you, however many of you came. Tune in next week. What is it next? What track are we at next week? Let's have a look. I'm having a quick look. The answer is we go to Miami. I will not be racing it. I can tell you that straight away. I will be in the comms box again. So we'll see you this time next week, everybody.